Hello from Bloomington, Indiana, United States. Professor Rubel has kindly invited me to say a few words to you today as you continue on your journey toward becoming a lawyer. As a lawyer, you will soon be in a special position to have an important influence on the future of Poland and indeed the world. Poland is a nation with a proud history. This proud history is largely due to the fact that the Polish people have always believed deeply in the ideals of freedom and democracy and the rule of law as a fundamental protection against the tyranny of men and women. This is precisely why Poland was such a threat to its imperialistic neighbors in the 18th century. And it's also the same reason why Poland leads the world today in resisting the imperialistic aggression taking place only a short distance to the east. The Polish people's dedication to these ideals has been key to Poland's survival throughout history. Today, however, the threat to these ideals does not come only from the outside. In almost all democratic societies today, there is a serious internal threat. This threat is more subtle and perhaps even hard to see at times, but it is very real and it is very dangerous. The internal threat comes from those who would seek to subvert the law, the courts, and the independence of the judges to the will of the political leadership. When politicians are allowed to dominate the courts, the rule of law cannot survive. When politicians appoint only judges who will do what they want, and then use disciplinary and other tools to control the judges while they're in office, then the rule of law can no longer be trusted to protect the rights of the people. The politicians can do whatever they want. We face the same threat here in the United States. Our founding fathers created a nation based on the rule of law, and they knew well that the rule of law would depend completely upon the independence of the judges. But we have recently experienced in the United States a determined effort by some politicians to take control over our courts, especially the Supreme Court. This effort has partially succeeded in bending the Supreme Court to the will of these politicians, which in turn has undermined public respect for the Supreme Court and the rule of law itself. In the end, the only effective defense for the rule of law is public respect. Without public respect, the courts and the judges cannot possibly stand up to the power of the political leadership. That is why the internal threat to the rule of law is so dangerous. And if the rule of law dies, then democracy and even civilized society itself will die along with it. Now, the people who vote for these politicians, the ones who seek to control the courts for their own political purposes, are not bad people. For the most part, these people vote the way they do largely as a cry for help, as a cry for some kind, any kind of change, because they feel ignored and isolated and left behind by the elites, by the powers that be. This is the root cause of the problem, and it's a difficult one to solve. Still, I remain hopeful. It's my nature to always look forward, not back. I believe that no matter what has happened in the past, we can always change what will happen tomorrow. But to do so, we will all need to do a better job of figuring out what's wrong within our societies. What would lead so many people to feel so strongly about the need for drastic change, even if that change threatens the core values of a democratic society? In Poland, as in the United States, we all need to work together to try to fix what's wrong, to solve the social problems for which our recent elections have provided such clear evidence. So here's my message to you. No matter which side of the current political divide in Poland you may find yourself on, please try to move forward together and make the world a better place for every single person who lives in it. Find a way to move forward that can work better for everyone. One last point, and it's the most important one. You are about to become lawyers. The single most important message I have for you today is this: whatever political party you may support, whomever you may vote for, as a lawyer, you have a special responsibility. It is your special responsibility as a lawyer to protect and defend the rule of law. Stand up for the rule of law. Fight for it. To the extent that the rule of law has already been damaged or undermined, work hard to restore it. Defend the rule of law at all costs, because in the end, it's the only thing that stands between us and political tyranny. Democracy can survive only if we continue to believe in a government of laws and not of men and women. That principle has never been more important than it is today. If we lose the rule of law, we lose everything. But as long as we can manage to preserve the rule of law, we will be able to find a way to solve our problems together. Thank you.